Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Rebecca Lawrence and this is Voices. In this set of interviews, I will be focusing on issues of inclusion, diversity and allyship through intimate conversations with wine industry professionals from all over the globe. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps us cover equipment, production and publication costs, and remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in. Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast with me, your host, Rebecca Lawrence. I'm excited to be joined today by Tru Miller, winemaker, hotelier, and horse lover from Valle de Guadalupe in Mexico. Welcome to the podcast, Tru. I'm so excited to have you talk about this wonderful wine region. I'm resisting saying new wine region because actually there's a long history in Guadalupe, I understand.
Yes, there is. We went from, I think maybe our winery was number 6 in the valley, and I think now we have over 200. So yes, it went very fast and people just popped up from all over the place.
And speaking from all over the place, how is it that a woman from the Netherlands suddenly finds herself as the first woman making wine in Baja California? Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the journey that brought you to Valle de Guadalupe?
My journey is a little bit sad and very beautiful at the end. I really wanted to get into the wine business, but not knowing very much, I just only really knew about Napa. So I went to Napa to find out what was going on, what could I do. And my son was going to do this with me and was going to meet me there. And he died on the way to the area. And so then I didn't really want to do anything with wine anymore. It was so sad because this lovely young man was going to help me start a winery in Napa. That was the idea. And so that was gone. I didn't want to go to Napa. I didn't want to start a winery. I didn't want to do anything. But he really was really into Mexico, and he wanted to be ambassador one day and for the United States in Mexico or vice versa. But he loved the Lady of Guadalupe, which of course is everybody knows in the whole world, but it's a Lady of Guadalupe from Mexico. And so you do strange things after a child died. I was looking for places where, how, and then I heard about a Valley of Guadalupe in Mexico where people were starting to make wine. And I got very excited and I said, I must go there immediately. And I did. And then things kind of just rolled around very easily. Somebody said, this land is for sale. Somebody else said, I can help you. One of the best winemakers said, of course I help you. One of the best people in the field said, I'll help you too. And it was really, really easy how all this started. And then I had to think of a name, of course, and I wanted the Guadalupe name in there. And I made it Adobe because Adobe in many languages means like a home. And so I thought that was good. And then I had to think of the names of the wines. And I thought maybe the names of the wines could be named after the angels. So that was it.
That's just so beautiful to take something so tragic and somehow find such a positive outcome that you can then share with people. I think that's a beautiful story.
Yes, thank you. And I every time it makes me happy and sad at the same time to tell this story. And I think, oh, people must be so tired of this story. But this is what it is. So I'm stuck with the story and I'm proud of the story. And I'm so glad you asked.
So let's dive into the wines a little bit, because there's been some discussion, I understand, about the salinity of the wines, the minerality of the soil, combined with this very particular microclimate that you have. Is this why you were so keen to work with because you're working with the great agronomist Jose Fernandez?
Yes. And he is one of the best in the country, and he knows, he's been here forever, and he knows the land like nobody else. It is true. There's salt, there's this, there's that. We don't have enough water, and that's really our problem here. We don't have enough water. We try almost every day to see where we can get water from. Maybe we can get water from the ocean. Maybe we can get water from another city. Maybe we can do this. So we have water commissions and all that kind of thing. Meanwhile, we live with what we have and are very happy when it rains. And actually, we're now in the rainy season and very little has come down, but we hope for the best. Because there is so little water, the plants are in this, of course, are in the ground and they're drier, and so that makes a different kind of grape. And in our case, that works very well because it makes it like a special grape, and it's because we don't have enough water.
I imagine you have very low yields and a lot of concentration in your grapes, giving you that extra intensity in the wines.
That is so true. The good thing here, of course, is that we don't have to stick with one variety. We can do here what we want. So, in that case, it wasn't just one kind of grape that we could use. We could use all the grapes we wanted. So that's why we have most of our grapes are a mixture.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I saw that most of your wines are blends rather than single varietals. So is this the reason so that you can sort of take the quality from each of the different grapes and put it together because you have got this very particular situation?
Yes, and we are allowed. We can do what we want, and so we try all kinds of things. And what we not so much anymore because we know what we're doing. And I think the angels that we have, we call it celestials, are pretty much set in their way. But we can still change certain years. We make small changes and see how that goes. But basically, the angels that we have, we stick with them, and we stick with the varietals.
Yeah, it is interesting that you say that you blend because you're allowed to, because this is one of the great things about, let's say, an emerging wine region, is that often they don't have that kind of denominational control. For example, here in Italy with the denominazione, you have very strict controls about what you can and can't put into your wines. But this must give you a real freedom when you start experimenting to just do what you wish and find the blend that suits you.
I mean, where can you do that? Yes, you could do it maybe I'm from the Netherlands, so you could do it in the Netherlands, but who would want to because the weather is not good enough. So, uh, really, this is absolutely wonderful. And it was one of the reasons that I got so excited that we could actually blend the wine and come up with something very, very different and very special. And so, the wines that we have, we're very proud of and are trying every year to more or less use the same wines of the year before.
So, speaking of things that are very special, you grow the Italian varietal Nebbiolo. So, what drew you to this variety, and how does it express itself in Guadalupe?
At the Nebbiolo, wonderful, right? We have an Italian winery here who brought the Nebbiolo grape, and we bought something to use it here, and we thought it went really, really well, and it was very elegant and very, very red in a different way, and so we made that, and then. I'm sure you're familiar with the hotel chain in Mayakoba. What is it? The Rosewood Hotels?
Yes. In fact, I used to work with the executive chef of the Rosewood Hotel in London.
Did you really?
I did, yes.
But I'm looking forward to Amsterdam because they're going to open very soon. And so the Rosewood in Mayakoba, in Hana Riviera Maya, in Cancun, we became friends. And the chef said, I really like Nebbiolo. And I said, okay, we'll just make a Nebbiolo for you. And then Rosewood said, can you make it for us? And so we make it exclusively for them, and they're showing it in their fancy dining rooms, and I'm very excited. And it's because it is really a wine to have with maybe not a fancy dinner, but with a dinner. I think it's a dinner wine, and I think they really saw that and really believed in it, and hopefully they'll send it to some more Rosewoods around the world.
Yeah, I hope I can see it on the menu in London next time I'm back there. That would be very exciting.
Insist. Yeah, I must say, I really want to Nebbiolo from Peru.
Exactly. So, with the travel, have you traveled to Italy?
Yes, I have. And if you like, I have a small story because I thought about this so much. I'm from World War II in Europe, of course. And so the first trip we took, my mother, my father, and I, after the war, was to Italy, where we were going to Italy. And so and we had a Citroën, and my mother had her leather gloves on, and I'm an only child sitting in the back. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We went to, of course, we passed Reims, where all the champagne buildings had been bombed out, and I remember that very, very vividly. And then we went to Italy. We went to Northern Italy, to Piemonte, for the Barolos and the Barbarescos, of course. And then we went further south. We went to Tuscany, and of course, my mother said, like a child, just are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm sitting in the back of the car, and then I think I fell asleep because then she said, "We're here," and so we're going up the lane, and to the left of the lane are all horses. To the right are all the wines growing, and it was beautiful. And the sun was setting, and I said, "Where are we? Where are?" And my mother said, "This is Sassicaia." Oh, wonderful. And I was just amazed. And I was 8 years old. How could I remember all this? And so when you told me that you were in Italy, I thought, oh, if you have time to listen to my little story, that would be so nice. Thank you.
And this is also perfect because you do have a love of horses and you have horses on your estate.
Absolutely, yes. We have Aztecas, which is a blend, like the wine. It's a blend of a typical horse from southern Spain and a horse from the northern part of the United States. I love to have the Spanish horses here, but you need to come here because the mountains are tough. They're too tough for these beautiful Andalusian horses. And so what we did, we started to breed them with the horses from Colorado and typical American horse. So we would have the strength and the beauty in a horse. And those horses became Azteca horses. And in 1972, we made sure that they were written up in the books and as something legitimate. And so those are the horses that I have. I'm very proud of them. So again, they look really beautiful and they're gorgeous, but they're tough.
See, just like your wines. So you say, I should come and visit, and obviously, if I could travel, I would be there in a second. And you do actually have a hotel as well. Do you believe that more wineries should be branching into enoturism?
Oh, I think so. I think this valley is just, it's exploding. And I think, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had more hotels and better hotels and more courses about wine, more courses maybe about horses, more courses about anything you can think of to make your stay more pleasant for a person. I'm really thinking of the people who, especially now, in these difficult times, they have been so in house and not eating well, not this and that. Wouldn't it be beautiful if you could just pop into the valley and go to, for example, to Adobe Guadalupe and have a wonderful dinner with a great wine? And then we have our rooms, they're normal rooms, but they have bathrobes from something special and this and that and the flowers and the wines. So I think it would be so nice if you could just pop over the border and do this for a weekend, a long weekend or longer. Learn, not only just relax, but learn about wines, learn about animals, learn about really flowers, learn about all the things that we have to offer, but in a very relaxed way. That's what I really like to.
I think this is a really great direction for these emerging wine regions to be taking because it makes you so much more invested in the area if you can see where the wines are being made. And this is something that we're so used to in Europe. Here we can just drive through the wineries, and I think this is a great direction. And I'm so excited that this is something that you've been doing, so that it's not just about the wine, it's about the culture and the history and the environment and the nature all around you.
Yes, and Mexico as a country has such stories and such a history, and so different. And you and I are from Europe, which of course is incredible and beautiful. But it's like Mexico has all these different states, and all these different states have different food, and they have different songs, and they speak differently, and it really is an interesting country.
So you have wine, you have horses, you have a hotel, and now you even have a tequila. So what's next for you, Tru?
The tequila is the latest thing. I just got the okay to be selling in the United States, which of course is hard. The tequila is called Tula, and it's made really to help women get stronger. We put the tequila in barrels of our wine. that have been used and that come from France and that are still very good. And so the tequila gets a little bit of a color from that. And it's dedicated mostly to the women. Like last year was the year of the woman, to drink tequila that is so strong, but with a touch of softness, which comes from the French barrels where we have put the tequila. And so I named it Tia Tula. It's a story about a woman who really wanted to study and was ready to study. And then at the last minute, she was told that she couldn't because she had to take care of 3 children from her brother. And so she had to postpone her university for about 20 years. But she did it anyway. This to show that as women, what we can do, we can drink tequila and we are strong. And it might be a little bit softer because it has a touch of the wine barrel, very, very fancy from France. So I thought it was a good combination.
It's a great combination. And normally when I do these interviews, it makes me fancy a glass of wine, but now I'm thinking of a margarita.
There you go. The slogan is, let me see, in English it would be better to choose than to be chosen. And which is so true in life. And so I'm so proud. And then we had the Year of the Woman, and we just really pushed this wine and the wine, of course, and this tequila, mostly for women to feel strong.
It's just brilliant. So before we close our interview today, I have to ask you, of course, what you're drinking.
What am I drinking? This is another thing we did. Everything was so hard this last year, and our wines are pretty pricey because we really give them a lot of attention, and we really only feel that we sell good wine. So I wanted to do something for people for a better price. So people who were losing money and were having a harder time to still have a taste of our wines. So we came out with basically we used the grapes that were left over from all the good wines, and we put it together, and we made a Jardin de Tru. My name is Tru, and made it an inexpensive wine, but a good wine. But just in these difficult times, that we could still have good wine and not spend God knows how much money.
Well, Tru Miller, thank you so much for joining me on the Italian Wine Podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation and learn a little bit more about what you're doing. Where can our listeners go to find you and your wines?
Of course, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and our website.
Fantastic. So we will link to all of those in our social media. Tru Miller, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Hope to see you soon.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.